So here we are dealing with an Iranian frigate. I'll set this up. This ship has already been warned 3 times. Kinetic action is going to happen, abandon ship. That word actually got to the crew, and at least one guy called his parents in Tehran and said, "We're going to get sunk, and captain won't let us abandon ship." That's not going to happen in any Navy, that people are going to abandon their ship. I want to point out a couple things as we get started. This isn't a periscope view, right? So you are looking down from, very likely a drone is looking at this ship. And you'll notice that the picture is cut off there. You can see that the water line, there's not enough freeboard on this ship. It's too low in the water. And they have cut off the video there so you can't see the torpedo wake coming in, because the U.S. doesn't want to show anybody what the wake of a Mark 48 advanced capability torpedo looks like. And just before this gets started, generally torpedoes these days, they don't come straight on and hit the side of the ship. As the torpedo closes in, it'll dive down when it gets close to the ship. So it goes off under the ship, not against the side, and that will break the ship's back. Okay, so in this instance, with a U.S. submarine attacking this ship, they're going to hit on the stern of the ship. And I think he did this for 2 reasons. One, they want to make sure this ship is not going anywhere, but I honestly think they were trying to hurt as few people as possible in this attack. So let's take a look. It doesn't take long to sink a ship these days. Okay. All right, you can see exactly what happened there. The fantail is put up, and you can see the ship's back breaking. And notice they hit it. You can see how quickly now. She's going down by the stern right now. There are guys running off the bow. So, and this is only the 2nd time in history that a nuclear submarine has attacked a surface ship. The first time happened in the Falkland War in 1982.
The oil refinery that was hit. You don't even see that in Ukraine or Russia.
No, this is incredible. And you know, you're looking at these clouds and they appear red, but they're actually black. And there's so much light coming up on it. So this is what a black cloud looks like. And petroleum fires, they will always burn really black. So this is these are likely tankage areas that are on fire, I think.
I just want to compare a little bit, because we talk a lot about Ukrainian attacks on Russian refineries and Russian oil depots. Like, what are some things that are different that a normal person wouldn't know?
Well, I think in this case, when you see fires that are this big and the smoke is this dark, they're probably burning crude products or products that are less refined. Oil can start out even like tar, and it has to be cracked. You know, those long towers you see in oil refineries, oversimplification, they keep heating it up until the volatile compounds, meaning, lighter things like kerosene and gasoline and even natural gas, they light off. But when you've got something like gasoline and it is set on fire, it explodes, right? If you put a piece of tar on the street and put a match to it, it's hard to get it to start. If you pour a puddle of gasoline in your driveway and you're stupid enough to light it with a match, it's going to go off 2 feet before you get there because it's volatile. So when you see clouds like this, it's almost always sort of unrefined or lower refined petroleum products.
Another thing is Ukraine is using a lot more drones, right? Still useful, but these are probably missiles because Israel has air dominance.
Yeah, and so these are more likely, and again, so what you've got hitting here is 500 pounds of high explosive, which is sort of the standard load of a Tomahawk or a big aerial bomb. And as the war went on, it was less and less sort of ballistic missiles and more even direct air support. You even had B-52s a couple of days ago delivering stuff. Now, they weren't dropping bombs like you saw in Vietnam. The B-52s have these rotary dispensers, so they just squirt cruise missiles, You listen to how these people are responding. and it's kind of like watching a good soccer game. They're kind of low key, and I think they realize we're not a target, right? So it's a fireworks show. Notice the power's still on everywhere, and so they weren't attacking the power plants.
That has to be scary though, still, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like that kind of light is insane.
yeah. This is farther away than it would happen, but there were times, you'd hit a big target and you could feel the heat and you were like a kilometer away. You could feel this blast of, it didn't singe your hair, but you could feel it on your face. Yeah, so here, this is an interesting one. Okay, so this was probably an anti-aircraft missile site that was hit, because you've got the initial explosion, which we didn't see. This is the first secondary. There's the second secondary. Now, see all those glitters that went off in the waved up through the mushroom cloud? Those were probably proximity fused anti-aircraft rounds. And they all went off when there was an electronic pulse. It'll come up here. So there was the first one. See all those ones going off, like from bottom to top? So there were all these 20 or 30 millimeter shells blown up, and they will go off when the radar reflection hits them. So this was probably an anti-aircraft artillery battery that was hit.
Wow. And it went on for a while. I think
Oh yeah.
it might still be going on, the fire.
Yeah. You get a big secondary, or you know what? The less sophisticated your enemy is, the more likely they're going to just, for ease of distribution, they just pile all this ammunition in one spot. They don't spread it out all over the city because they don't have the sort of logistical connections to make that work. So you get these big, juicy targets like this, which we call a sympathetic target, meaning if you hit it, it'll just keep blowing for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so this facility that was hit in Tehran was like 15% of Iran's oil supply.
Whoa.
I guess, 15. So not 50, but 15.
Yes.
Still, the oil pipes would go out from the refinery or whatever it was, oil depot. And so you could see the streets light up.
Yeah, and I also think you get a position here. So you get lighter grades of crude that are, of the consistency of like maple syrup. So it would roll down the street, and once it got started, right, it'll burn and it'll keep burning, So you think you put a gasoline or a kerosene fire, it goes poof and kind of burns itself out. But this stuff, it's harder to start, but it'll just keep burning because it consumes itself more slowly. But that's pretty rad, man, right there.
Yeah.
It's a fire, right?
And the same fire here going on next day.
Wow. Yeah, so here's a good thing for explosionologists. See that black kind of cloud almost always means it's petrochemicals that are burning. And the last airstrike I was in, we were outside of Pokrovsk, and a Russian glide bomb hit a target. And the first thing that came up was a big black cloud like that. So we knew it had been some sort of fuel depot. Interestingly enough, we didn't hear the bomb. We didn't see it go off. We didn't even hear it. It was so weird. And we turned over, and that's what it looked like. One of those weird moments,
I think in Houston we have had this 2 times. Not as big, but when refineries have accidents, you could see it. Sometimes even like taste it in the air.
Yeah,
they tell you to stay in.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, don't go into the cloud, folks. That isn't
we
good
were very
for you.
far.
Yeah, it just isn't good for you. And even if you get out of there, your doctor's going to have bad news for you in 20 years. So don't do it. Wow.
This is from Iranian TV too, though. So yeah.
Yeah. Listen to how calm the woman is. She's just like, he's going, holy smokes, and other adjectives. There is a little communications mast over there on the right.
Yeah.
And that's what got hit. But this is a pretty good example of when you take a close hit, You get the bomb and the flash, and you think, "Oh man, I didn't get hit," and then all this stuff starts coming down on you.
I thought this was more so like empty area, but it is something.
Yeah, see, I think those two things we see are two communications masts right there.
That makes sense.
The war footage in the reaction you just watched was one of many videos that we record every single week here at Basics Insider. Our goal is to keep you guys informed and share the reality of Ukraine's heroic fight against Russia. We invite many experts like the former Navy SEAL Chuck Farr, who you just watched. But the problem with posting a lot of these war footage is that, well, YouTube guidelines don't really allow us to post them here uncensored. YouTube often restricts our videos or sometimes even outright deletes it. That's why you saw a lot of blurred and censored footage in this clip. So, to be able to show you full uncensored videos, we built our own platform. This is where you can watch these videos in full length, 100% uncensored. That way we can show you the reality of the war and learn from army experts who have real life experience. So you can join the platform by clicking the link in the description or going to basicsinsider.com. You can also scan the QR code on your screen. Now, YouTube has a habit of restricting our videos because it doesn't consider them advertiser friendly. So if you guys can just take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below, it really does help us out with the algorithm a lot.